So lately I've just been endlessly becoming more and more of a Mario Party fan, and right now I want to discuss something really niche, something I don't know if anyone else has even bothered to do, which is I feel like a lot of what I do. In this video, I'm going to be discussing where I think in the Mario universe every single board from the Mario Party series is. And this isn't going to be a series in itself, not going to cover one game in a video. It's going to be every single board, or at least every single main board. I'm not including like every single individual level thing from Star Rush and that type of stuff. Also, I want to say I had the idea for this video. I forget the name of the channel, but someone made a video very similar to this on finding where the locations of Mario Kart tracks are, which I thought was a really cool idea, and it was a cool video. But this is Mario Party. So starting with the first game, we have the first board, DK's Jungle Adventure. Now of course, since this is in the jungle, and it's DK's board, it would only make sense to assume it's on DK Island. And a description of this board in the original Mario Party refers to it as Jungle Ruins, and because of that, we can narrow it down on DK Island to either, in like the original game, one of the levels like Temple Tempest in what I believe is Vine Valley, that portion of the island, or the Ruins section that is part of Donkey Kong Country Returns. From there, Peach's birthday cake, we can assume this is sort of like a Mario Party DS situation where the characters are shrunken to fit on the board, and this would just be a regular cake, perhaps baked and served in Peach's castle, kind of like in Mario 64, where Peach bakes a cake, and we can only assume that was in her castle. That would only make sense, since that's what the entire game takes place in. Yoshi's Tropical Island, it's very similar in name to Yoshi's Island, so we can assume it might be part of that, or just literally Yoshi's Island, but it doesn't really look like it, so we can also assume it's an island that is broken off of Yoshi's Island, but still part of it. Mario Party 1 refers to it as Southern Islands, so that kind of just narrows it down to an island that is south of Yoshi's regular island, or just part of it, but the southern one. Anyway, Wario's Battle Canyon. This might actually be a portion of Bob-omb Battlefield that we don't get to see in Mario 64, since it is literally a battlefield with Bob-ombs. But it can also be within either Stove Canyon or Steep Canyon, because both of those are from Wario games and have Canyon in their name. Luigi's Engine Room. Now this could obviously be in any of Luigi's Mansions from the Luigi's Mansion series, or it could be part of EGAD's vault, or even connected to another Mario Party board, which is EGAD's garage. I also figure it might even be located in the GAD Industries headquarters, which isn't actually a location that is a thing or is referred to, but I can only assume that it exists because EGAD is said to have a company called EGAD Industries, so it only makes sense that they have buildings somewhere. Mario's Rainbow Castle. This could easily just be the Rainbow Ride level from Mario 64, which means it's technically within or at least connected to Peach's castle. Bowser's Magma Mountain. Now this can be a theme for pretty much every single Bowser board here, in that I'm saying it's probably just part of literally any lava world or level, or just connected to or near Bowser's castle from any Mario game. But this one specifically, since a lot of Mario Party 1 seems to take from Mario 64, we can assume this might be in the Fire Sea or in Lethal Lava Land, especially since there's a volcano there, or also maybe even Corona Mountain, since Bowser's fought there in Super Mario Sunshine, and that is a volcano too, though not as likely. Eternal Star, it's simply just somewhere in space, perhaps right above Mushroom Village, which is the hub area of Mario Party 1. Now for Mario Party 2, there is a technicality here in the fact that every single board is actually part of quote-unquote Mario Land, which is the amusement park in the game. So technically, that's where they're all located, but I'm going to talk about where they would be located if they weren't part of that. For example, Pirate Land. Because of its similarities to DK's Jungle Adventure from the previous game, we could attribute this map to DK and say it's part of Crocodile Isle, especially from Donkey Kong Country 2. And specifically, it almost kind of resembles Gangplank Galley, the first section of Crocodile Isle. However, if we're not attributing it to DK, it could potentially be part of Pirate World, which is an area, I kid you not, from the Super Show, so not really from the games, but still the Mario universe, maybe not canon, so maybe it doesn't count. Anyway, Western Land could technically be part of Sunset Wilds, the Mario Kart track. Just because it's a Mario Kart track doesn't mean it's not an area too. I mean, that's clearly like an entire canyon area, so Western Land could be situated in the same spot. And the reason I thought of Sunset Wilds is because that area, or that track in the background, has different mesas and cliffs visible. And in the Western Land map, not only can you see what looks like one in the background, but also Steamer, which is the train NPC on that map. In the next Mario Party game, Mario Party 3, he appeared in a minigame called the End of the Line, where whoever loses goes flying off a very similar desert-looking cliffside. So we can assume this minigame is based around Western Land, and that all comes back together to maybe these are all in the same area. Spaceland, I would say this could potentially be part of Space Zone in Mario Land 2, since that game also takes place in a place called Mario Land, albeit a different place called Mario Land. Mystery Land, now this one I think is pretty cool. If you look at the map, you see pyramids and you see stoneheads, and we also see these in the original Super Mario Land in Sarasa Land, which is Daisy's Kingdom. Pyramids are specifically from the first area, Birabudo Kingdom, and stoneheads are from Easton Kingdom, but this could be some kind of meeting area between those. However, this could also technically be near or part of the Golden Pyramid as seen in Wario Land 4, since at least Wario is in this game and not Daisy. And the Golden Pyramid from that game is noted to be a place for treasure hunting like Mystery Land is. Horrorland, this honestly is likely in the woods depicted in the background of Big Boo's haunt, because the skybox of that level in Mario 64 looks kind of similar to just the general vibe of this place, a very spooky haunted forest. And as I was saying, I'm assuming a lot of these N64 boards are based on or near Mario 64 locations. Also, King Boo, or Big Boo, and regular Boos appear on this map, just like they do in Big Boo's haunt. Bowser Land, the final map from this game, probably part of World Bowser, since both of them are Bowser theme parks, especially like before it became very high-tech, like it's seen as in 3D World. Although specifically even in 3D World, when Bowser, or World Bowser looks very technological, there's still a volcano in it, so it could be just inside of that or something. Mario Party 3, just like Mario Party 2, technically these are all in one set spot and not really anywhere in the world. This time, as part of the lore, they're just, I guess, part of like a storybook or they're inside of a toy box, really. But again, I'm going to map these out as if they were unique locations. So Chilly Waters, again for the Mario 64 reference, probably in Snowman's Land, since both of these maps feature a large Mr. Blizzard and a frozen lake. Deep Bloober Sea, now this isn't Mario 64, but in Super Paper Mario, the tile pool level, which is, you know, a deep sea level, also features a giant blooper like this map, and also both of those games feature very storybook theming. Woody Woods could be a smaller part of Mario Land, which is, again, the theme park from Mario Party 2, or specifically the minigame land area of Mario Party 2, since the first time Woody is actually seen isn't in this game, it's in minigame land from Mario Party 2. Spiny Desert is most certainly Shifting Sand Land from Mario 64, since Klepto, Pokies, Tornadoes, and Quicksand, all of those things are featured here. Creepy Cavern, again from Mario 64, this could be Hazy Maze Cave since it is a cave and Dory is swimming in a little pool in it, or even a cave system below Womp's Fortress since the Womp King is there. Waluigi's Island, this could easily be off the coast of Diamond City, which is Wario's homeland, which I could imagine maybe Wario and Waluigi met, and then Waluigi purchased or built some land off the coast of where Wario lives, and now they live near each other. And of course I'm thinking way too far into all of this, because again, especially with this game, these are all just like story, or like toy box, literal board games for the lore of Mario Party 3. Anyway, Mario Party 4, again, for this game, the technicality is that at the beginning of the game there is the big party cube that comes by, and I guess all of the boards are just inside of that. But again, here's if they weren't. So Toad's Midway Madness, this could be located within Toad Town, which I believe is from Paper Mario, or definitely somewhere in Mushroom Kingdom since Toad owns it. But also, because of the Toad balloons in both of the things I'm about to mention, this map could easily be part of or just near Toad Circuit. Shy Guy's Jungle Jam, likely within Shy Guy Falls, the Mario Kart track. Boo's Haunted Bash, literally any ghost house level or area, or just Big Boo's Haunt again. Koopa's Seaside Soiree, very annoying name to pronounce and a very terrible map, but this isn't about that anyway. Probably somewhere in any of the Koopa Beach areas or Koopa Troopa Beach. Goomba's Greedy Gala could technically be in Casino Delfino, since, this is a GameCube Mario Party and Mario Sunshine's on the GameCube, and both of these things feature a large roulette wheel on the ground, which is why I'm saying that. And Bowser's Gnarly Party, party, any just lava or Bowser's Castle general area. Mario Party 5, unfortunately we've got another technicality. This time all of these maps are just dream worlds, so these really don't even exist, but at that point they could technically be part of Subcon, which is the literal dream world that Mario 2 takes place in. But if they were real in the Mario universe, I imagine Toy Dream would be part of Toy Time Galaxy from Mario Galaxy. Rainbow Dream would be potentially near any of the Rainbow Roads, or even Nimbus Land from RPG, or the Over There from Super Paper Mario, considering all the cloud platforms. And if it is the Over There, in that level of Super Paper Mario, there's a giant cloud guy called Sirius, and there just so happens to be a big cloud thing at the center of this map, which could be Sirius. Pirate Dream, pretty much the same thing as Pirate Land, except this looks even more like Crocodile Isle if you look at it than Pirate Land did, so it's more likely here. Undersea Dream, this could technically be in Jolly Roger Bay from Mario 64, considering the sunken ship, albeit they don't look the same, or Gelato Beach, just considering the coral reefs, and that's one of the only places I know of in a Mario game that features coral reefs, and again, these are both GameCube games, so that would make sense. Future Dream could be an improved version of Spaceland from Mario Party 2, otherwise it is just anywhere in space. Sweet Dream could easily be Sweet Sweet Canyon or Sweet Mystery Galaxy. I can't imagine too many different places in the Mario universe just being made of candy for no reason. And, of course, for the Bowser map, Bowser Nightmare, it's just Bowser's castle, or one of his castles, because he's probably got a lot of those. Mario Party 6, Towering Treetop, could technically be Woody Woods, just progressed a bit into the future to the point that either Woody has grown into a much bigger tree and now you play on Woody, or just a giant tree has grown and Woody is now on top of it, because technically I don't think the big tree on this map is Woody, but Woody is on the top, so we can just assume this is the forest that Woody Woods is in, but now a giant tree has come out of the ground, and you play on that, but Woody's still there. Egad's Garage, pretty much the same thing I said for Luigi's Engine Room. Fair Square. This could theoretically be Flipside and Flopside from Super Paper Mario, since the building architecture is kind of similar, at least the most similar to pretty much any Mario game, town, or city I could find. And also the flipping between night and day could just be flipping between Flipside and Flopside. Snowflake Lake. Now this is not the most popular game I'm about to mention, so you might not know what it is, but Super Princess Peach, there's an area called Gleam Glacier, and the only reason I even thought of this one is because in the center of this map, there's a frozen lake with a little dragon skeleton in it. That immediately made me think of Blazoris, which is one of the bosses from Super Princess Peach, who happens to be in the Gleam Glacier area, which would make sense for this map. Or it could just be Snowland or Vanilla Lake, that general area. Castaway Bay is definitely in or around DK Island and or Crocodile Isle, since DK rides a boat around this map, and there's once again a pirate theme. And Clockwork Castle? Now this is a bit of a stretch, but it could work. The old Clockworks in Luigi's Mansion 2, this could just be that before they were old, or before they were abandoned. It could also be in Clockwork Ruins Galaxy, or just somewhere in the sky above the hub area in Mario Party 6, since it does seem to be a unique location considering Twyla and Brighton live there and they're only really seen in this game. Mario Party 7. This time there's another technicality, but it doesn't really mean that they're all in one spot and it's going to affect anything, although it kind of will. This time it's because the lore of this game is that you go on a cruise ship to get to these locations, so we can assume that the characters are going kind of far to get to them, so probably not Mushroom Kingdom for any of these. So, Grand Canal, we could assume this is maybe Port Prisma, which is kind of similar in the fact that it's a port. But honestly, even more likely would be Rico Harbor or somewhere in Isle Delfino, since they have a very similar real-life basis. Like, I'm pretty sure they're both based on, like, some general European coastal area, like Italy or something. Pagoda Peak could easily be in the Chai Kingdom, or Samir's Kingdom, because of the theming that they all have. Pyramid Park could again be in Shifting Sandland, considering the small oasis in the pyramids, or it could technically be Yoshi Desert, but taken over by Bowser, since there's a Bowser Sphinx instead of a Yoshi one, or just Birabudo Kingdom again. Neon Heights is most likely New Donk City in Metro Kingdom from Mario Odyssey. Windmillville could easily be Bianco Hills because of the windmills and river running through both. Honestly, of any Mario location, Bianco Hills probably looks the most like Windmillville. Although maybe Windmillville is a little too lush for that. It seems a little more landlocked, but who knows, maybe it could be further in to the land of Isle Delfino. Because again, these maps are like cruise destinations, and Isle Delfino certainly isn't part of Mushroom Kingdom. And lastly, Enchanted Inferno. Again, obviously just somewhere in the Lava Worlds or Bowser's Castle, but this time, this could actually be an improved and upgraded version of Bowser Land, since both of them are Bowser theme parks. Mario Party 8, Treetop Temple. It would only make sense that that's in the Congo Jungle and DK Island somewhere. Goomba's Booty Boardwalk could easily be connected to Goomba Lagoon, which is a new Mario Party board, since both of them have a pirate and beach theme and a volcano and Goombas. Or perhaps it's a part of the greater water world, or any water world area in the Mushroom Kingdom. King Boo's Haunted Hideaway, just Luigi's Mansion, any of them, or Big Boo's Haunt again. Shy Guy's Perplex Express, this could just be a railroad in the middle of nowhere that leads between two other Shy Guy themed areas, like maybe Shy Guy Falls and Shy Guy Bazaar, because you are literally just traveling on this train indefinitely in just a strip of grass. Koopa's Tycoon Town could be part of Koopa Village, or even Crime Land, which is again a very obscure place in the Super Show. It's a town that features a place called the Koopa Club, which is the only reason I mention that, or even part of World Bowser prior to becoming very high-tech. And Bowser's Warped Orbit could easily be an early model of Bowser Station from the next Mario Party. But whatever it is, it's just somewhere in space. Mario Party 9 Toad Road could be... Now this is another one I'm pretty proud of figuring out, or I wouldn't say figuring out, but thinking of. Little Fungi Town, the area from Superstar Saga. I'm thinking this map is below that, because in Little Fungi Town, you're clearly high up in the sky, it's on all these big mushroom platforms, and in Toad Road, it's obviously on the ground, but it also has to do with toads, and there's clearly some toads that live here, but the one thing that made me think of this is this random vine that leads up into the sky that has no purpose as far as I know, so I'm thinking that vine could just lead up to Little Fungi Town. Bob-omb Factory could just be any factory in the same area, or just part of even Toad's factory, or simply a factory somewhere in Bowser's domain somewhere. Boo's Horror Castle, pretty much the same as any other Boo map so far. Blooper Beach, this would be a cool one. We had Deep Bloober Sea earlier, which is a blooper map underwater, but this is above water, so this could technically be the surface level of Deep Bloober Sea. Magma Mine, this time probably not a Bowser area since it's not a Bowser map, but definitely just in some volcano, or some of the lava worlds in the games, especially New Super Mario Bros. Wii, because again, I'm assuming most of the Mario Party boards take some inspiration from the previous mainline game, which I guess for this would be New Super Mario Bros. Wii, or even Mario Galaxy, but can't think of anything for that, so probably just World 8 of New Super Mario Bros. Wii. And Bowser Station, obviously just in space somewhere, maybe even Bowser's Galaxy Reactor or one of those Bowser's areas from Mario Galaxy, because again, both Wii games. And DK's Jungle Ruins, obviously just somewhere on DK Island, like the Ruins area. Whimsical Waters, now we're on the Wii U, and of course a recent game from the Wii U at this time would have been New Super Mario Bros. U, so I'm thinking Whimsical Waters is probably just underwater in the Sparkling Waters area of that map. And one reason for this is because Dragon Eels, a new enemy at the time, are present in both of these. Mushroom Park is maybe an updated version of Toad's Midway Madness, since they both seem to be like Toad amusement parks. But it's definitely near Peach's castle somewhere, since that appears to just literally be where the map starts. Airship Central might be in some kind of coin heaven area, which appear in a lot of the games, or just in the sky somewhere, maybe over Bowser's castle, since it is, I guess, his airships. Haunted Trail. This is likely the Soda Jungle in New Super Mario Bros. U, since it definitely seems to take inspiration from part of that world. And Chaos Castle would only make sense to be Bowser's castle. Super Mario Party, we have Whomp's Domino Ruins, which, honestly, the only thing I could really think of is that maybe it's part of Thwomp Ruins, the Mario Kart track. They're connected in some way. Bob-omb's Powder Keg Mine. It could be at the same site as Wario's Gold Mine, or perhaps a mine system under Bob-omb Battlefield. Mega Fruit Paradise. I feel like it would only make sense if this is part of Yoshi's Island, or even Yoshi's Tropical Island, or some Yoshi-inhabited area because of all the fruit. And Kamek's Tantalizing Tower could be either Bowser's castle under an illusion by Kamek to make it look all golden and everything, simply for the sake of turning it into a Mario Party map, because I think in this game, man, in like Jamboree, it's just kind of lore that Kamek is like hosting the parties and doing some things to make, like, building the maps himself or something, so I don't know. Anyway, Mario Party DS, for the only time in this video I'm doing a little double here, Wiggler's Garden and Toadette's Music Room, and I'm getting this information here from the map that you see in the story mode, where you can see where all of the boards are, and these two maps seem to be in the same little town area, which also happens to be a seaside town. So honestly, I would assume that this town just so happens to be the town that we see in the Mario Kart track Toad Harbor, since that is most likely a Toad-inhabited area, and it's clearly on the sea. And I'm saying this is probably a Toad-inhabited area because if Toadette's Music Room is there, that means she owns a music building, which would make me assume that most of the people in the general area are also Toads. And then just in there, I guess there's a garden that Wiggler lives in. From there, DK Stone Statue. I would say DK Island, but again, referring to the story mode map, we can see it's in the same area as the other maps here, so assuming these are all in the Mushroom Kingdom, it's probably just some jungle in the Mushroom Kingdom, especially near Toad Harbor, since I'm weirdly just assuming Mario Party DS takes place around that. Or at least two of the boards. And then Kamek's Library. Now this is going off topic from what I've just been building up, but I had to put this one in here because I think it's honestly really cool. At least in the Superstars remake of Horrorland, there's a building in the back that Kamek comes out of. So I think it'd be really cool if that happens to just literally be Kamek's Library on the inside, which would make some interconnectivity between two maps, like I've mentioned a few other times. And then Bowser's Pinball Machine, probably just a pinball machine in Bowser's castle. Island Tour, we have Perilous Palace Path. This could be leading to Whomp's Fortress, or a new version of Whomp's Fortress, since the end is a castle guarded by a Whomp. Bonsai Bill's Mad Mountain is likely in the canyon areas of the first New Super Mario Bros. Games, since the design just looks very similar to them, or even 9-3 in New Super Mario Bros. Wii, which is a canyon setting with Bonsai Bills in it. However, that would mean that this map just happens to be in space on a big star, because that's what World 9 is. Rocket Road. Now this one is one that I can be almost sure of. I'm assuming this is literally next to or just above, like very close to Gateway Galaxy from Mario Galaxy, because what appears to be a simplified version of that galaxy is literally there, and Lumas are there too. Kamek's Carpet Ride. Just like Kamek's Library, this could also be the inside of that building from Horrorland. Although at the beginning of this map, you have a choice to enter one of two large buildings, and there's only one large building in the background of Horrorland. So maybe it's an improved version where there are two buildings, or it's another building that you don't see. However, the building in Horrorland, at least in the Superstars version, has a sun and moon symbol on it, and one of the buildings you can go into on this Island Tour map also does. Shy Guy's Shuffle City could be in the same place as Goomba's Greedy Gala, or even within Greedy Gala, or vice versa. And Bowser's Peculiar Peak, again, same place as any other Bowser map. And then Jamboree. Now again, we've got another little specification. When you fly on the hot air balloon in this game, you can see that all of these maps are just on one island together. Which I guess by this point, if we take this game as canon, since Mario's Rainbow Castle and Western Land come back in this game, that would make this their canon locations just on this island, and override what I previously said. But if they were just like transported here by Kamek or something for the sake of it, we'll keep their original locations. And for these new map locations, I'm going to say the Roll'em Raceway, aside from, you know, the island that they're all on, we're going to pretend that doesn't exist, could be near or in World 1 of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, mainly because of those iconic little colored hills in the background that they seem to have brought back for this. Or it could even be connected to a Mario Kart track like Mario Raceway, which also has a large pipe-shaped tunnel like this board does. Rainbow Galleria could be connected to, part of, or just near, like the same shopping district as Coconut Mall. Goomba Lagoon, as I said, probably just same area as Goomba's Booty Boardwalk. Wiggler's Tree Garden could be in Soda Jungle, or other jungle worlds in the new Super Mario Bros. Series, where Mega Wigglers have appeared a few different times before. And lastly, King Bowser's Keep, again, probably just a Bowser's Castle, or just a fake Bowser Castle made by Kamek for the sake of the party. As I mentioned earlier, that's a thing that probably happened, or that seems to be happening. And this one especially because Imposter Bowser rules this castle and not regular Bowser, so it wouldn't make sense for this to exist otherwise. And looking back, I never actually figured out where I thought Star-Crossed Skyway would be, which is a board from Island Tour. Aside from just being somewhere in the sky, I honestly kind of struggle to figuring out where this could possibly be, just because it's such a complex map and there's so many different, like, terrains and everything in it, so that one I'm gonna leave with a question mark, aside from just being in the sky. But anyway, this was probably, I don't know how long this video was, maybe long, definitely longer than the past couple I've made, but I wanted to make this and I thought it was a pretty cool idea. I'm not going to drag it on any longer, so if you enjoyed this, consider liking, commenting, and subscribing, and thanks for watching.